So with the recent eShop closure of the 3DS, I've started to wonder, what can I even do with this anymore? Because if you guys don't know, Nintendo closed down the eShop back in April-ish, I think back in March, April, March. And since then, it has been chaos. So the prices of 3DSs have gone up. From the cheapest model all the way to the most expensive one is just crazy. But most importantly, games have gotten out of control. Like getting a physical copy of a game is gotten over, like it's gone off the roof. Okay, it's gone ballistic. It's gone wild. So at this point, you kind of have no choice. You either get these insanely expensive physical copies, or you do the second path, and it's homebrewing your 3DS. And I did it today, and I was not expecting how easy and how valuable this is. Now I have two 3DSs. I have my original 3DS XL and I have my new 3DS XL. To make things easier for me, I actually went with my new 3DS XL. And it wasn't as complicated as I think. When people were actually saying that it is very simple, it really is. Now there are some things you want to have, like for example, if you are going to be using the new models, you are going to need a micro SD card reader. Now luckily, if you have bought a micro SD card, there might be a chance that you have that. I'll put an image on screen right now of the one I have, and that's the one I use. If you don't really have that, then you're kind of out of luck. So in this case, I use my new 3DS because I feel like, why would I just be using an older piece of hardware that is not going to be as efficient? The process was very simple. You had to just put the micro SD card into the computer, mess around with the files, add some files onto the micro SD card, and slap the micro SD card onto the 3DS. Once you're done with that, then you gotta do some magic button pressing and stuff. It's a little bit complicated, but then once you get through that, it becomes very simple. And once you install Homebrew, it's just, at that point you can just do whatever you want. For example, in my case, I installed the Eshop, which in my opinion is kind of a necessity now, and it was really, really simple to install. You have the FBI app. You also have the Anemone 3DS theme manager, which is honestly amazing. I just love how you could just install random themes. You can also cycle through themes and stuff. For example, I have this Fire Emblem Engage theme. Really nice. I like it. It even has like custom music on it. Oh my gosh. There was also this Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. There was also one for Mario. Yeah, you basically get the picture. There's a lot of these themes that you can get. There's like Walter White themes, meme themes. It's just wonderful. I love it. And some of them have custom music, like I said, and custom, sound effects, which is really great and all. But going back to the Eshop, honestly, I messed around with it a little bit, and it is a dream. For example, I installed Super Mario 64, the original game. I was trying to look for Super Mario 64 DS. They didn't have it, so I had to just stick with Super Mario 64. I played through the first mission, and it was a blast. It was fun. It was easier, much easier to play than, let's just say, on a emulator on a PC. It's a lot easier on the 3DS, by far. It's a much easier time. The controls are much better. It's really smooth. So that really shocked me, like how smooth the frame rate is for a game like Super Mario 64. Not saying that it's a hard game to run, but it's very interesting. It just runs it really smoothly. Sadly, that's the only game I've tested so far as of me recording this. I also installed another Fire Emblem game because I'm already on the roll. I might as well. Since I got Fire Emblem Engage, I've been into Fire Emblem already. So I actually downloaded Fire Emblem Warriors. I haven't tested it yet, but it was on the Eshop, and it's really cool because you could also get the DLC for this, and you can get the different versions. You can get the Japanese version, the European version. There's many versions of them, and it's not just with Fire Emblem. There's just Mario games, Sonic games. You could get DS games on this, which is nuts. Virtual consoles, for example, you can get your SNES games, you can get your Game Boy Advance games. It's all on the 3DS. Like, honestly, this has to be one of the best things I've ever done for this system. I wish I would have done it sooner, but again, I didn't have the supplies. It wasn't until I got the micro SD card reader for my 3DS I could actually do it, because I was planning on doing this after the eShop closed. but I just didn't have the resources. If you're planning on getting like a 3DS, I would honestly recommend the newer models just because I feel like they offer more, especially the 3DS XL and the new 2DS XL. If you can get those newer models, I think it'll be worth it in the long run because I feel like they are more powerful. You have the more advanced hardware. So you're not going to be lacking features if you were to get something like the original 2DS or the original 3DS or the original 3DS XL. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get these older models. I mean, that is your choice. They are going to be a little bit cheaper in my opinion than if you were to get something like the newer models, but I feel that you should go for the newer models. And if you are going to get something, get a Japanese version. The only problem with the Japanese version is I believe they are region locked, so you can't really change the language to English. It's stuck in Japanese. You can change it. I believe that there is a way for you to do it, but yeah, it's a bit complicated. So you either go for an American one, which is going to be much more expensive, or you go with the Japanese route, which are going to be a lot more cheaper. And for those who already have a 3DS, just go for it. Like homebrew, if you have the resources to do it, because that is probably the utmost important thing. If you have the resources, and also I forgot, you also have to be confident in what you're doing. If you're confident and you know what you're doing and you have the resources, go and do it. And for those of you guys who are nervous of doing it, I was in that situation. You know, I've never modded a device. This is my first time ever doing it. I was terrified. I didn't know what could happen. I thought this thing could brick. It didn't, luckily, but it can happen to you, so you do have to be aware of that. Luckily for me, it was a really smooth process. It took me around, let's just say 30 minutes, maybe an hour, because of the extra steps you gotta do. Like installing the software onto the 3DS isn't the hard part. It's doing the other stuff, like putting Homebrew, making it its own app, and then the FBI, and there's a lot of back and forth. For example, you have to go back to the computer again at the end of it, so because you want to have extra files just in case something goes wrong with your 3DS. Like it's a lot of going back and forth from the computer to the 3DS, and also a lot of back and forth from different apps. But once you get it installed, it's done, it's over. But the 3DS can do so much, and it's amazing what it can do, how you can just revive it. And well, like I said, there are risks to doing this. In the end of the day, if you can pull it off, which I guarantee you most of you can, most of you haven't even done this to a system. For example, like I said, I've never done this before, and I actually did it. You'll really find value in this, so I highly recommend it. But anyways guys, I think that'll be all for this video. Let me know down below if you have a modded 3DS and how hard was it, and was it worth it or not. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Peace.